Well, this is a very unfortunate situation that probably doesn't make anybody involved look good. And unfortunately for Activision, they are kind of the only people who had actual people with names associated with this. So they are facing quite a bit of backlash right now. So I am talking about a recent leak of Slack messages that were exchanged through Activision Blizzard employees. Now, Slack, if you didn't know, is a very commonly used platform that basically allows employees to kind of instant message each other, presumably, for really just work-related stuff. But these were allegedly leaked by an employee that was in the chat room where these messages were exchanged. I guess for one reason or another, they took screenshots of them and then shared it with people online, and then it spread that way. Now, before we get into the leaks themselves, I just want to state for the record, I do not support any kind of leaking, especially of, private conversations. Look, at the end of the day, I know that sometimes the things that are revealed in these private conversations, or just leaks in general of certain things in gaming, I know that they can be interesting, but I suppose at the end of the day, I am a firm believer that people do have the right to privacy, so, I can't just fully support that something like this has happened in the first place, especially when it involves doxing. So there are a number of these screenshots that basically show the full names of these employees, and now allegedly a lot of these employees are getting harassed. That's obviously not good. So yeah, I never really support the leaking of private chats, and I definitely don't support doxing, but what is done is done. Now, I'm not going to actually post these screenshots because I don't want to get banned from YouTube for posting doxing content or leaked content or anything like that, but the general overview of what I have seen from these leaked Slack messages is not good in my opinion. That's just totally in my opinion. I can't speak for anybody else, but I do not think that it represents Activision very well at all, especially because these chats are occurring on their actual company Slack platform. So it's very odd to exchange the messages that they were exchanging. So these messages mainly seem to focus on Donald Trump. Yeah, of all things, the U.S. president, the newly elected U.S. president, Donald Trump, seemed to be kind of the main focus here from a lot of these leaked messages from Activision. The company that, I don't know, in my opinion, should probably be focusing on trying to fix Call of Duty because they're not doing very well right now if you've been paying attention to Black Ops 6 drama. But to be fair, the president can obviously enact policies that can affect a company. So, I suppose discussing his policies and how that could affect the company by itself isn't necessarily a bad thing if it's happening on the Slack board. And that is pretty much exactly the nature of what it seems like they were doing. But how they were doing it, how they were going about it, again, mind you, on a company Slack platform was very odd in my opinion. A lot of these messages seem to be occurring kind of around Inauguration Day or maybe right before or maybe, I don't know, during. Like people were talking about, I've never been more tempted to buy a gun, and one message said, arm the left. I mean, look, I am all for freedom of speech, and, if you want to say all that stuff to your buddies after work, that is way different, but it's just very odd to me to do this, seemingly on company time while using the company's communication board. And then in general, there were just some other odd things that maybe really didn't seem to involve Activision at all, just general political discussion that was odd. And some of these are kind of interesting, like it's kind of hard for me to keep track of all of the interfaces of different social media platforms versus Slack. Like some of these were posted on Facebook, like they doxed one guy that showed some of his Facebook posts that, well, I won't repeat what he said, but it is very concerning. And it is alleged, I can't confirm that is the actual Activision employee, but that is what is alleged. And then there was another post, not sure if this was through Slack or if it was more Twitter, but it was an Activision employee allegedly posting a guillotine GIF when reacting to a CNN article talking about how there could be trillionaires coming in the next few years. Yeah, very odd. And then there was a Slack message where one Activision employee talks about how they need to use an entirely new platform for their HR platform because they said they did not feel safe with the security of the platform they were on, and they cited a lot of different political stuff as reasons why they didn't feel safe. So, obviously we kind of have a whole range of different posts here. Some are definitely more tame than others. At the end of the day, like I said, I don't really support this kind of thing, but at the same time, what was revealed from Activision's internal message messages with their employees allegedly was very concerning, at least to me. Some of the more violent stuff was, yeah, definitely not very good, especially if done through the actual company's communication. It's just very odd. Like, I can only speak for myself, but I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, a very personal bit of information about my life that I have never revealed, and that is that I do have a job. Yes, I know, it's pretty crazy, but what I'm trying to get at is that we kind of have stuff like this similar to Slack, and, you know, nobody talks like this. I guess mainly because, I mean, there are people on both sides of the political spectrum that we all work with. We all know that. It's very odd to just kind of go completely one-sided, especially in your work messages. But even just putting that aside, talking about violence and wanting to go out and buy a gun, you know, just all of that stuff, it's very odd to do on company time. So yeah, not a good look for Activision, but at the same time, I still do have to say not a good look for really anybody, the leakers, maybe even the person that took the screenshots and did not crop out the names to prevent doxing. All of it's just, you know, a not good thing. Now, I don't know if there's any kind of follow-up that could happen after some time. I don't know if Activision could maybe press charges on the individual that took these screenshots and leaked out the messages. I don't really know if any of that will happen, but what is out there is now out there. The moral of the story, if there is one to learn from this, it is on one hand to never leak messages and definitely don't dox people, but on the other hand, it is also to not post about non-work related stuff on your company's communication platform. It's just probably not a good idea.